and welcome to another session that I'm doing a series of topics on self compassion. Um, Criticizing and pushing yourself harder will not make you more motivated, self compassion will. If you like what I have to say in this session, make sure that you sign up for the VIP waitlist for my brand new upcoming course on emotional self care. It's for women and it's called Boost Your Emotional Health, Build Your Radical Self Care Practice. So, coming back to the topic that I have chosen today, um, I want to share with you why self criticism helps you remain stuck and demotivated, and what can help you to move forward and keep going, right? Because there was a survey that I did recently. I surveyed a group of women and I asked them about different questions, but in particular about emotional self care and emotional health. And one of the things that I asked them was, what is your, in terms of how you feel, what is your biggest number one thing, whether it's demotivated or it's more stressed, or what are the challenges, etc. So the number one thing that came out was demotivation, and the number two that was procrastination, right? These are the things that uh, you know women are dealing with, and I'm sure it might must be true for others as well. um, and this is why I chose to focus on this topic for this month as a whole, and talk about what can really help you to remain motivated, stay motivated, and do the things that you want to do, right? But before I go any further, before I start off on this topic, I want to dispel one myth that we have about motivation, and that is that we often feel that if we criticize ourselves, if we are more, if we push ourselves more and more, we will, be motivated to finish. And on the flip side, if we are too soft on ourselves, as we think, or we are too compassionate or show compassion or kindness with ourselves, we will become more lazy and we will not be as productive, right? Because we will not move. But that could not be further from the truth. So this is an area, in fact, that I will be delving for, into major details in my upcoming course. So make sure that you join the VIP wait list, that, the link that I have shared below, um, so that you can sort of, if this is something that you deal with, this is something that we will be focusing on, and you will find tools and resources which will help you to, find a solution for this. So the first thing is that what I want to talk about is that your inner critic is not your friend, right? And we know what an inner critic is like. So we know that we have this voice inside our heads which tells us, which sort of, a lot of times insults and judges us. So in the sense that our inner critic is constantly talking to us, is constantly judging us at the very least, and it's saying things like, and a lot of these things start with I should, right? So for example, I should be eating healthier, I should be eating more vegetables, I should be exercising more, I should be a better parent, right? I should be more lean, I should have less weight. So these are the shoulds that our inner voice or the inner critic, I would say, is constantly using, right? And you can, if you sit down and think about this phrase I should, and you can do this exercise. You can take a blank sheet of paper and write down I should, and then just complete the sentences and come up with as many sentences that you want to, right? And you will see that what comes up for you, right? This is your inner critic talking to you. And this inner critic symbolizes what is wrong with you, all right? Or rather, the focus of, on things that are not perfect and not right. And what what that makes us feel like often is less confident, more of a failure, and also more of not being able to sort of forgive ourselves for our mistakes, right? That's what so more of a failure. And it makes us forget that we actually have a choice, right? We have a choice in terms of um, how we want to take our life forward, right? Um, okay. Rather than I should, what you can look at doing is replacing it with I could. So if I really wanted to, I could, right? So whatever that you have written down, starting with I should, now see if you can replace it with the sentence, if I really wanted to, I could, right? And see what kind of a difference it makes. See if it reminds you of the choices that you have, the choice that you have, right? This is actually an exercise from the amazing book by Louise Hay. It's called You Can Heal Your Life, and I can't recommend it enough. So check out the book. I'll share the link below again. And the second thing, so this is where your inner critic. This is what I wanted to sort of bring a light, sort of flashlight on, shine a torch on the inner critic that each and every one of us has. But we don't have to really believe everything that our inner critic says, because not all of it is true, right? The second very important thing that I want to talk about today is basically redefining perfection. Okay. um, I when I talk about perfection, I first and foremost think about our brain and our bodies. I think our brain and our bodies embody what it is to be beautiful and flawed. Okay, actually rather the opposite of perfect. But if you really think about it, right, our bodies have an amazing ability to heal. So when we get a cut, when we have a wound, we can heal ourselves. um, when we breathe in and out all the time without even being aware of it, and that keeps us alive, right? We don't have to think about breathing. We know or our bodies know exactly how to nourish a growing baby inside of us as women and give birth at the right time. So all these amazing things that the body is capable of doing, in spite of it not being perfect as we think about what perfection is. So whether it's the right weight, it's the right height with the right size, so because many people actually many you know people are come to this earth not being differently abled and maybe having other different illnesses. Does that make them less than perfect? No, it just makes us whole, right? So the rather than focusing on perfection, I think we need to focus on what it is to be whole as a person. Because no matter how flawed, no matter how beautiful and flawed we are, at the same time, we are not broken and we do not need to be fixed, right? So the thing is, the perfectionism is not the same thing as striving to be the best that we can be, right? To put in our best efforts. It's not the same thing. Perfectionism is acts like a kind of a shield, and it protects us from shame. It protects us from feeling like a failure. It protects us from criticism of other people. It in a way, perfectionism basically drives us to look for other people's approval and acceptance, and that becomes a problem, right? Because what happens is that if we look for this kind of approval and acceptance, then it's very easy to remain stuck in paralysis mode. It's very easy not to put our work out there, not to share it with the world, not to share our gifts, because we are so scared of being judged we are so scared of being criticized, and we are so scared of making mistakes, right? So all these things, and it's hugely, instead of being a motivator, which is what we think, this is not, it helps us helps us remain stuck, right? We are stuck. So by redefining what it means to be perfect and returning to the concept of being whole can help you to move forward, can help you to feel more motivated and more confident about yourself. And the last thing that I want to touch upon today is imperfection, right? As I said, just a bit ago, that we are beautiful and we are flawed. That means we are imperfect beings, right? And once we start accepting our imperfect self, then we are more likely to see ourselves as whole, just as we are right now, right at this moment, right? So we are a whole human being rather than a sum of our discrete body parts. That's what it means. And mistakes and failures and challenges are inevitable, uh, along life's journey. But we are able to accept this, and we are able to, able to motivate ourselves, and we are able to make the changes that are required. We are able to make progress, and we are able to see the improvements that we want in our lives, right? So we are able to hold both. We are able to accept ourselves as we are right now, and at the same time we are able to work on improving ourselves and our lives, right? That's the balance that we are able to keep. And in other words, we are free to operate from a place of I am doing the best that I can right now, right? I am and we are then able to appreciate and celebrate every progress, every bit of progress that we make. And also, by learning to be kind to ourselves, by showing ourselves compassion, we are also able to keep ourselves going, right? When we make mistakes, when we fail at something, right? Because of compassion, because of the compassion that we show ourselves, which is self compassion, because of the awareness that we have about our inner critic, right? Because of the fact that we can redefine perfectionism and show ourselves compassion at the same time, we are able to move forward. We are able to share our gifts. We are able to be comfortable, with being good enough, right? And our lives are richer for it. So, this is what truly motivates us from within, right? There can be other factors as well. We can be motivated by looking at other people, by reading, what books, etc. But I find that if we can uncover what is keeping us stuck, and we can remove those roadblocks, then we are able to continue on our journey, right? And this kind of motivation finally comes from within. It doesn't depend on then external factors. And we are motivated, as I mentioned, we are motivated to improve ourselves. We are motivated to improve our lives and that of the others, because we are not judging ourselves, right? We are not judging ourselves. We are accepting ourselves as we are, and we do not even feel the need to judge ourselves for our need to improve, right, or to change what is not working. So once again, today's session was actually about how self-criticism does not motivate you. Self-criticism does not help you to become unstuck when you are sort of struggling to move forward in your life, to make better decisions, to make healthier choices. Rather, it is self-compassion which helps you to stay motivated, stay on the right track, deal with your challenges, face your mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. And if you like what I have to say, make sure that you sign up for the VIP waitlist for my brand new upcoming course. It's for women on emotional self-care, and it's called Boost Your Emotional Health, Build Your Radical Self-Care Practice. I'll see you again soon.